Joseph sold as a slave to Egypt. After threw Joseph into the pit, they sat down to eat their meal. They looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Their camels were loaded with spices, balm, and myrrh, and they were on their way to take them down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers,
"What will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood."
"Yeah, that's better." While Reuben was not there, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the pit and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. While Reuben returned to the pit and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes and cried out,
"Joseph isn't there. What should I do now? How can I see my father's face? Oh no!"
Then they got Joseph's fancy clothes, slaughtered a goat, and dipped the cloth in the blood. They took the fancy clothes back to their father and said,
Father, look at these clothes.
"We found this in the road. See whether it is Joseph's clothes." He recognized and said,
"No, it is my son's clothes. Some ferocious animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces. No."
Then Jacob tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and cried for his son many days. All his sons and daughters came to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted.
"No, surely I go down to the grave to my son. I don't want to live without my Joseph."
Meanwhile, the Midianites sold Joseph in Egypt to Potiphar, one of the Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard. The Lord was with Joseph, so whatever he was doing, it went well. When his master saw that the Lord was with him and that the Lord gave him success in everything he did,
"Joseph, I see that the Lord is with you. I trust you, and I will put you in charge of my household and all that I owned."
From that time on, the Lord blessed the household of the Egyptian because of Joseph. The blessing of the Lord was on everything Potiphar had, both in house and in the field. So he left in Joseph's care everything he had.
"I won't concern with anything except the food I ate. Now, take in charge of my house."
Now Joseph was a very handsome and a good-looking young man. Potiphar's wife had a crush on him. One day his wife took notice of Joseph and said, "Come to me, Joseph. You are so cute. Come with me."
"No, I can't. My master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns he has entrusted to my care. No one is greater in this house than I am. My master has allowed me everything except you, because you are his wife. How then could I do this great evil and sin against God?"
Even though he refused her, she came on to Joseph day after day. But Joseph kept refusing her and tried to avoid her. One day he went into the house to do his work. "Joseph, now nobody is here except you and me. We are alone here. Come to the bed with me. Come." She caught him by his clothes and pulled him, but he left his cloth in her hand and ran out of the house. Then she called her household servants and said, Look, this Hebrew has been brought to us to make sports of us. He came in here to sleep with me, but I screamed. When he heard me scream for help, he left his clothes beside me and ran out of the house." She kept his clothes beside her until his master came home. Then she told him this story. He burned with anger. Joseph's master took him and put him in prison. Joseph was imprisoned, but God was with him. He was given the opportunity to interpret dreams in prison, and he even interpreted Pharaoh's troubling dream. As a result, Pharaoh appointed Joseph to govern the country during 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. Although Joseph was sold into Egypt, God protected him. From the time he put him in charge of his household and of all that he owned, the Lord blessed the household of Egyptian because of Joseph. The blessing of the Lord was on everything Potiphar had, both in the house and in the field. Genesis chapter 39, verse 5.